We're here with Black Orchid for another live stream on Huddle In. Super excited to be here today. Black Orchid's got some heat coming out. We're going to talk all about the song called I'll Go. Um, First and foremost, before we get into any details, though, I want to ask how you feeling, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Jared. I feel great. Lots of exciting stuff. I'm very excited about this drop and this release. Yeah, just a lot of all around.
Yeah, and this is I've listened to it. I'm really feeling it, feeling kind of wavy. Um, we'll get right into it. So everybody knows about the details. Most people at this point are familiar with Sound XYZ. It's coming out on Sound XYZ tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, pre-sale starts in is that midnight? Yeah, pre-sale
Yeah,
starts at
midnight.
midnight. Yeah, okay. So pre-sale starts at midnight. Um, Everything will be live tomorrow, though, and you can hop on, you can listen to it. We're gonna break down the song here today, so you guys can enjoy and kind of hear everything that Black Orchid put into it. Um, First and foremost, I know that you do most of your own production, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What was the and this is a remix, but it sounds like really wavy, and I was really feeling it. So I'm excited to share with everybody. But kind of where did it come from?
So initially, the song had started out as a job I was doing for Lush Cosmetics, to be very honest with you. And when I started it, that was like, no, there's something about this one that I made I can't give it away. So I kept it for myself. It didn't have any words yet. And then I met this guy and I really liked him for a bit. And I wrote this song, to let him know how I felt. And I let him hear it. And I'm like, I wonder what I should do with the song because he likes it and I like it a lot. So maybe I should, go to the studio and cut it. So that's what I ended up doing. I had my mentor Jada Ryder help me with some of the parts, especially the vamp at the end, because at some parts I was kind of stuck. Because the song's been through like 5, 6 changes, to be honest with you, because I'm never satisfied with the initial cut. So after he helped me with that, I went back in and corrected it, and it sounded blessed. So, and then I'm like, wow, I should put it out because I this was like a total departure from what I was doing before. Like I still doing dancehall, I'm still doing like reggae and stuff, but it was more like an alternative R&B pop record, and it was kind of a step out of my comfort zone, especially with my production because I've never really done anything that sounded like that at that point. And then I changed my name to shorten the black and everything because I was getting mixed up with another band or something. And so I figured it was like the perfect segue, introducing myself as Black Orchid as you see me now. So yeah.
That's really I love hearing the backstory with it, so it's cool to hear. I'm curious though, you saying that, and I think it's like this for most people, never like fully satisfied with how it comes out, or like, oh, maybe we can tweak this, and I think unfortunately though, like sometimes when you do the little tweaks, it feels like it unravels, and you're like, oh, now I got to go change all this other stuff too. But um, curious about maybe I don't know how normal your process is, or maybe if it changes. But when you set something like this, is there a typical amount of time that maybe you kind of set it, forget it, and then try to come back to it with fresh ears, or you just kind of stay at it the whole time?
Initially, if I really like where it's going, I'll stay at it, and it won't take me very long to put it together. Like that particular song, even when I went like in and corrected a couple things, maybe took a couple of days. Because it took it's not a very long song, so it maybe took about like half an hour to write, and then usually what I do, I'll go in and I'll arrange as I sing. I don't really write down what I'm gonna do as harmony wise because I already have like a set way of how I harmonize. So I'll just usually go in and see what works, and if it doesn't, then I'll just recut it again. But yeah, I usually just go in, and then if it sounds good, then I'll get feedback from the closest people to me, which would be my mentor who heard it, first. and told me that, yeah, I should do this, I should say this at the end, or I should say it this way, because at the beginning of the song when I first had it, it didn't have any words. When I go, I will do anything. I didn't say I will do. I said I. So when he heard that, he was like, "Yeah, you should put some words to it." And he said he gave me some words to say, and I said them. So it's just a symbiotic relationship between my mentor and I of how that song came about, coupled with what I did with the production. Really.
That's really nice, and it's really, really great that you have that relationship like that, so you can kind of get like the really honest feedback. I also really love that you remember like the step by steps of each thing, because I can only imagine how many songs you've produced and like created, right? So to remember those specific nuances is actually like really interesting to me. Um, One of the things I wanted to ask about is when you write pen to paper, like did you already have an like so he says put words and maybe he gave you an idea or two, but did you already have an idea of where you wanted to go with it, or like how many iterations do you go through when you write? Like does that come pretty naturally?
Sometimes I might change a couple of words, but usually when I write, it usually sticks. But if I do take a lot of guidance from my mentor writing wise. But I already had like an idea in my head because like I said, I like this guy and I wanted to convey how I felt about him. Just doing it properly, in song form, was the issue. So after we kind of laid out all the structure of the song, then I had a proper song instead of just feelings to convey. So yeah.
That's cool. What about going the other way, right? So like maybe I think it's really common to hear people say like, or not really common, but more common to hear people say, maybe add this, or I'm looking for something here, or whatever it may be. What about taking like subtraction, right? Like addition via subtraction type thing. Like does that happen more
Oh
often? Like
yeah, all the time. Because sometimes like I'll go ham with with the stacks, or I'll go ham with like certain things. And like I said, for over the course of the last 7 years, like my mentor that's heard like most of the stuff first, and so he'll usually tell me, yeah, this doesn't work, or I'll take out this, or something like that, and I'll try it. Sometimes we might not agree on everything, but I'll try. I'll try what he suggests at least once, and if it works, then it'll stick. But yeah, that's how it usually goes.
I love that though, that you say that you guys don't agree on everything, because if you did agree on everything, like it becomes less of a symbiotic type of thing, so it's good to get that feedback and clash a little bit. And sometimes you might hear something, you might hear something, and you're like, this is the one right here. So um before we press play and we start to get into the song a little bit, curious about when this came to mind and you started to develop vocals for it. Obviously you already had the production. When it comes to the feature by Nick, was it a very natural thing? You're like, oh, I already know, or like, how did that come to be?
Actually, it was funny because I never imagined the song to be a remix. It was him that actually brought the idea of a remix to me. Because shout out to the guys at Future Surf, because they were one of the first people that I had brought the song to in the space. Like I've been in Web3 space for like over a year, and I used that song to kind of like introduce myself. So one day, I think it was playing in Future Surf one day, and Nick was there, and he heard the song, and he DM'd me, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I wonder if you let me write a verse to it." And I was like, "Really?" Like I couldn't really envision that at first, right? But then I'm like, let me give this a chance, because it could maybe change the trajectory of the song. So I gave him the instrumental, and it didn't take him very long to come back with a verse, and I was like completely like blown away, just by his lyricism and just this little nuances that he did. Just at the beginning of that, it was just amazing to me. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this has to we have to make this official. So I thank Nick for making me see like a different perspective of how that song could go, because people really, actually, the people that have heard it already, like love that. So I really appreciate of that.
That's great. That to me, that is like one of the coolest stories. Shout out Future Surf. Cam, Scholar,
Yeah, man.
June,
Shout out to
Maya,
Future Surf
everybody.
Monday. I love y'all, man. Cam, Scholar, June, all the people them that frequent all the time. It's like one of the places that like I always go to because I get like honest like feedback from people there, and like I share like even like the crappiest of work that's not even mixed, and people like love it, and I've like discovered like the most amazing like artists through there, through Rub 3. So I'm grateful for the space, you know, and just being here so long and stuck, you know.
Yeah. Well, and not that there's a really easy way to keep track of this, but I wonder how many other songs have gone through like how they do in Future Surf, and they play the music, people listen, and then like a collab came from that and is now dropping on sound. That's amazing. That's so
There's
cool.
so many of them, like so many people that have crossed paths in there, and you like if you look on there, you'll see there's lots of them, you know, just because of platforms like Future Surf. So yeah, if you guys haven't gone on there or listened to Future Surf, you're missing out on like an amazing thing, honestly.
And one more plug for Future Surf. I think this week they're coming up on episode 100. So
Yes, the 100th episode, man. That's crazy. Like I can't even believe I've been there since like day one. Like the anniversary is gonna come up soon too, if I'm not mistaken. So big up
yeah,
that. Like that is an amazing feat to me because, you know, platforms have come and gone and everything like that, but they've remained, and it's just been an organic growth, and I'm just really proud of those guys. Trust me.
yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, tap in. If you're on Twitter, it's at Future Surf Radio. Give 'em a look. It's a big week for them, hitting 100. Obviously, do out here doing good things. It's kind of how this collab came to be on this remix, Black Orchid and Nick. And without further ado, we've talked about it a good bit here. Let's play it, and we'll have some moments where we pause, and I kind of want to hear your takes on the
Sure.
a little bit of the breakdown. But here we go, guys.
Snake, Black Orchid. Listen, it's different when you tell me that you need me. It's different when you say you have to see me. That's my line. Yeah, your name's on the byline, writings on the wall. Once you call looking for my time, take it off of you, Miss Jackson. You nasty, love it though. Turn me back into the past me. I love it though. Have to be open every time that you ask me. I love it though. Few things I put above it though, but fuck all that. I'm trying to talk about us too. Trying to see if you down for me. Every day when I'm asking what you up to, that groundwork, plant the seed, all in hopes of the right vibe when we riding home on them night drives and you looking at me. Hope you wanna say.
All right, that's a good spot. We'll take a quick break right there. That was Nick's first. Um, I got some things to say about it, but first, like obviously you led up to it, but when it came back to you, and you were like, ooh, ooh, right? Like, start to.
So that part particularly there, like the transition, I have to like shout out my engineer for Austin. We've been working together for the last like almost 3 years now, and I feel like Austin has an ear to my sound. So I didn't even have to tell him to do that. He just did that, and that's like one of my favorite parts of the record in the remix, that long reverb. It sounds like, you know, something is starting before it runs. I just love that. So big up Austin for that, you know? Yeah.
That's really cool to have that rapport like that you can shoot something like that to him, and he knows that he has the autonomy and your trust to make it something fire like that. Like, so it's a good little thing on there. It was interesting. So truthfully, like I didn't know Nick before this song. Cadence wise is a little bit kind of like a Wale sound to me, and lyrically, I think he delivers in a similar fashion. I really love the Miss Jackson, if you nasty
Yeah,
reference there.
I love that line. It went over my head at first, but then when I finally caught it, I was like, oh my gosh, no, Nick, that was fire.
But I think, all in all, I want to say I think he caught the tone too. So like we're about to get into your verse, and like we'll just call it like it is. Like you was open in the verse, and you described your sentiment behind it, so it makes sense. And I felt like he was a good compliment to that as well too.
Mhm.
Um, what you obviously agreed on that too. By the way, real quick, I want to ask about these visuals, like this little visualizer here. I thought
Yeah.
this was fire. Did you come up with this?
Yeah, I designed it just because I just like having like cool visuals behind everything I do. So I had this picture of myself that actually was um artificially generated. And so I modified it to make it look like blue like this. And then I designed all this other stuff like behind it and put the lyrics and all that stuff behind it. So yeah. Well, sometimes I do a little bit of graphic work on the side.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what that's about.
it came out well. It came out well. So we'll keep the song playing here as we go through this transition, and then we'll find another break.
Thank you.
Hope you wanna say.
I will follow you anywhere that you ask me to. I will go to the ends of the earth if you want me to. 'Cause no one makes me feel the way that you do. And you know for a fact that I will write for you. I will do anything. I'll do. I will do anything. I'll go. I will climb the highest peak on earth for you. Swim to the deepest part of the sea. I would for you. 'Cause you know for a fact that I'm in love with you. And I ain't going nowhere 'cause I'm a ride for you. I will do anything. I'll do. I will do anything. I will go. I'll go anything for your love.
All right, we'll stop it right there before we finish it out. Um, the mixing on it feels so good. There's some nice effects on your voice, like the deepening effect in a few spots. When this first came to be, and you heard the final like version of this, the final draft and whatnot. Uh, you know, how were you feeling?
I, I cried actually because it sounded like incredible to me that what Austin did in the final, in the final mix. Because like my mixing skills are crap, and I rather leave it to the to professionals. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that back and what he did, how he manipulated my voice to sound like that, I felt like he executed exactly what I wanted it to sound like. So like when I heard it's like, yes, this is exactly like how I wanted the song to sound, like rich and warm, electric waves, all of that stuff. So he executed that very well. So it went definitely in the mix.
I love that. I love that too, and I'm very glad that you pulled it back from Lush, right? Like
Very regretful I sent it over. Sorry, but yeah, I couldn't. I had to hold on to that one. It was too special. So, yeah.
we'll finish it out here so everybody can hear how it ties it off.
I will go hard for our love. For your love for us, nothing ever enough for love. For your love for us, I will go hard for our love. I will do anything. I'll do. I will do anything. I'll go.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. You know, the waviness to it, I was really feeling it. I'm curious though, from the production side, it sounds like there's a little bit of a sample in there. Did you sample something?
I found this loop and it had this vocal sample. It sounded like it was saying "I'll go." So that's really how the whole basis of the song like came about. I'm like, that's the guy saying "I'll go." So
Mm.
let me write how I feel out, how I feel about this guy, even though I would not like climb Mount Everest or dive down to the Mariana Trench. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be doing them things. But like people feel that way about somebody they care about. So you know,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then there's a lot of things on there. So forgive me, I haven't actually looked. Is this already on streaming or no?
the original song is, but
Okay.
the remix is dropping tomorrow. I believe at the same time the drop is happening. I think I timed it so everything could drop at the same time.
Awesome. Awesome. I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of I know it's a little bit more work on the artist side, but I'm a huge advocate of these making it onto the streaming side because it just makes it a little bit easier when I'm riding in the car and you want to listen to it, that
Yeah,
type of you want to play it throughout the
definitely.
house and whatnot. So
Definitely. And then I try to be hip to the game because this version, well, this is an uncensored version, but I did make a radio version and put it on streaming too. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, they had the dirty, the clean version and the instruments and acapella. There's still things that you should have even if you're releasing music in Web3. You should still have those things so people can enjoy your music without feeling like they can't listen to it at work or case may be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Better safe than sorry to have the options on there. Um, Now this is your sound debut. I want to talk to you about that. Like, how excited were you to get that call?
This is the second one actually, but when I
Oh,
did get the initial first one, this is my second drop on sound to be honest with you.
oh, my bad. Well, what's the sound experience been like? Oh man, I didn't see you had one on here. I'm about to go scoop one right now.
Thank you.
But what's the sound experience been like for you?
It's been it's been really cool. I want to thank Mon, because she's the one who sent me the message about wanting to be on there, and I said sure, like I'd love to because I feel like um my sound was needed on sound,
Mm.
because I don't I feel that there should be more artists that doing like my kind of music on that platform, doing dance hall, doing reggae, doing fusion of the two or three, and like um I feel also that I can bring value too with the amazing music that I do have in my catalog that I could bring to sound that have like some of the amazing people that I've worked with outside of Web3. So yeah, stay tuned because you never know what's gonna drop on there next.
Hey, I love to hear that. I'm a big reggae fan, so like you throwing that in and some dance hall in there, like I am all for that. I think that's one of the things where right now, NFTs and the blockchain, and especially when it comes to music on that type of stuff, it's not to sound cliche, but it is relatively early that people just don't know to put that on here. So we're lacking like the wide diversity of sounds that you can go get from just a Spotify type thing. So um, shout out to you for putting that on there. This transaction is going right through, so I can
Hey,
get the
bam, bam,
original.
bam, bam. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
we got, we got some horns here. Um, but no, so this is super exciting. I'm curious. Obviously, you had the graphic visuals. You have any intention of doing like a actual like video, like a music video type of thing?
Yeah, actually, I had wanted to do a music video for the first one, but I guess my vision was too large for my pot at the time. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I do plan to do a visual for this. I already have tried to map out what I wanted it to look like and all that stuff. So I'm hopeful that that will be executed this year for sure.
We'll be on the lookout for it. We'll be on the lookout for it. And then, just curious, like, do you have like a bigger piece of work, like whether it's an EP or an album, or you got anything that you're bringing
Yeah.
together right
I'm working on an album right now. It's like halfway mixed. It's more on the reggae lovers rock R&B fusion side. I'm calling it Lovers Groove, and so it's just gonna be vibes like that the whole way through. And I'm very excited about that. After this drop, I do have a song coming out from the album before it's released. So yeah, look out for that too.
now? I'm ready for it. That's really cool. So you say it's halfway done being mixed. So you're already done with all the vocals, all the music, right?
Yeah, actually, this album came about over the winter break between like December and January. Really, like I produced and wrote everything within the space of a couple of weeks, and I was like, wow, I made like a whole entire album within 2 weeks. So I'm very excited. So for everybody to hear that, because it's different from what people know me for. I'm more vulnerable. I'm more open. The sound is different. So yeah, look out for that for sure.
I like that though. I like that the experimentation and the exploring of that. I was talking to Domino yesterday, and it's actually one of those things I really like seeing. So something like I think Yachty did a really good example of that, of venturing off of people not really expecting that from him. And like, to be honest with you, like, I don't I don't know how much he cared what the reception was. Is he got in there and he did what he wanted to do. So I love that you're making a fusion type of sound and doing what you want to do. So I'm super anxious to hear it.
Yeah,
Um,
don't worry, you will. I've been throwing bits and pieces of the first single out here and there. It's called Man Eater, so judging by the title, it should be very interesting.
okay, okay, I'm ready for it. Um, Couple things, really, I want to first and foremost thank you for the time. I don't want to hold you too long. Um, is it I am Black Orchid on everything?
Yeah, pretty much everything. On TikTok, there's a one after it, but yeah, you can find me everywhere at I am Black Orchid, where it says right there in my display, everywhere, pretty much.
Perfect. And in addition to my thanks, I want to leave you with the floor to whether it's a date for us to check out or any kind of message you want to tell to the audience now or after the fact.
Well, thank you, Jared, for having me. Again, this was a wonderful experience. And Huddlin, they've always been supportive of my, of my artistry and my efforts. So thank you for that. Thank you everybody who's tuned in on the live right now. You got to hear a little bit, about how the song came about. And I hope if you are, a fan of mine and you are a collector that, scoop you one of these remixes. You know what I'm saying? It's at 0.02 ETH. It's not too much ETH. You know what I'm saying? So pick that up because I anticipate my career taking off very soon. So yeah, you might as well get that at a good price before the price gone up. Pandem, you done know. So yeah,
Well, thank you again, and thank you for the Huddle In shout out. For everybody that doesn't know, Black Orchid's been on Huddle In since our early days. And if you haven't downloaded it already, check it out. It's in all of your app stores. HUDDLN. Probably the easiest way to get started on Web3 in general. If you got any questions, reach out to us or anybody here on the Huddle Inside. Black Orchid, thank you again. Everybody, the drop goes live tonight at midnight. You can pick you up a copy tomorrow. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
peace.